Talking about the Lions, though, when we were talking about Galladay, they're always going to stink. Are they the team that's interested in PJ Fleck being the next head coach?
Yep. I hope so.
Do not stir this pot, please.
Can I see the tweet that is announcing PJ Fleck as a possible Tom Pelissero, the Arrow? A handful of college coaches are drawing interest for NFL head coaching jobs. And here's an interesting one. Minnesota's PJ Fleck. Row the boat. I'm told at least one team wants to interview Fleck, 40, who's one of the only current FBS head coaches to both play and coach in the NFL. I didn't know he was coaching. Was he like a wide receiver's assistant or something like that?
I think so,
Yeah, and the play as well. I mean,
Well, he was in locker rooms.
yeah, he had a 10-yard punt return. And that is his stat.
Hey, he stood back there.
That's right.
Yeah.
He stood back there with probably like 7-8 guys.
Yep.
Sprinting in his face. He was in the locker room. He was in team meetings. Okay, he'd been to training camp, I'd assume.
Yeah.
He was in practice squads, I'd assume. He got a chance to experience the NFL existence. Now, was he at the top of the NFL? No, but he was there. Then he goes to where? Central Michigan? Yes.
Was it Western?
Western Michigan. Yeah. And the way I learned about this dude was a video. He was trying to start a new thing at Western Michigan, which was every third down, we're going to do the guitar and we're going to go bang, bang, bang. And he did the video.
Whoa.
Okay. That's how I saw the video. All right. And I forget what year. I think Chandler Harnish was on our team because he knew PJ somehow. He knew him well. And the video, I saw it and I was like, who is this guy? He's electric. Who is it? And they're like, I think somebody said Chandler knows him. So I guess I'm like, what is this guy? Like, tell me about this man right here who's doing this. Head coach at a college football team, basically saying, hey, we don't have any traditions, okay? Like, how some places have the cowbell or the keys for the kickoff or a chant or anything like that. At Western Michigan, we ain't got a damn thing. So he said, listen, I'm gonna take it upon myself. I'm gonna film myself. I'm gonna create this tradition. And he even told them what they're gonna do, okay? And then they're gonna do the whole thing. And it was like, by the way, they did it. He started winning. The environment got awesome, and I was like, this guy is electric. So then he moves obviously over to the Minnesota gig. We get a chance to kind of meet him a little bit, have him on the show, and it's like every time you talk to him, he's just like getting you ready to run through a brick wall. And then you see and hear about the recruiting stories behind the thing and all the speeches and the way he speaks and the way he does it, and you're like, holy shit. Like, you could see how a parent would want their kid to go here, like, hey, we're trying to be elite. We're trying to have a
Neckton mentality.
Neckton mentality.
Farmers Alliance, because we know that our neighbors farm is just as important as our farm.
That's right.
Because if the whole thing, his pillars basically of Minnesota football, and you're like, yeah, you could see how if you're a parent, you'd want your kid to go to this school. And by the way, Minnesota, for the first time in forever, top 5 hosting college game day. I was having them in the college football playoff just because I love the people in Minnesota. Love the people over there. This year they kind of tapered off, and now his name's up for NFL gigs, and it's like, would that work in the NFL? I think we've got a chance to listen to AJ Hawk talk a little bit. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like we've had a lot of NFL guys on the show at this point, and you've kind of got a chance to learn, I think, about how NFL players potentially sometimes act as opposed to what they always say in interviews. Do you think PJ Fleck would operate well in the NFL? And if I'm saying the answer, it would have to be a young team. Okay, it can't be. It wouldn't have to be it can't be a veteran-led team. Which, by the way, veteran-led teams normally don't have coaching opportunities open unless it's Houston, who already has a quarterback and J.J. Watt there. So it's probably not Houston. Let's assume that it would have to be a young team that you're looking to build and buy in and flip the culture. And for me, I think that's probably the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Stafford's on his way. There's a rumor out there that league executives think that Stafford's going to end up with the Colts. Fucking amen.
Here we go. Congratulations.
Thank God. There was rumors about that potentially happening in years past, by the way, and who knows if those then never came through or whatever. But you get that, you get Stafford out of there, and then you rebuild that thing, and you got a guy who already has ties to Michigan. Look him up there.
Yeah.
Already got ties to Michigan up there. You bring in, you bring in the goddamn boat, put it in the middle of the locker room, and you tell them, boys, you either get on the boat or you fucking die out here with the water.
Up to you.
We do not want this guy.
You're a
Smash the Lions fans up there.
Steelers fan. What do you mean we? You're Steelers fan?
We got to get Robert Salah from San Francisco. All right, he's actually from Michigan. He was a Lions fan growing up, so he knows how miserable we are. Also, Michigan State guy, perfect fit. We got to hire him.
Okay. So you're saying, but PJ Fleck is getting head coaching looks, I guess, or maybe his agent is saying that he's getting head coaching looks because he wants to maybe move to the NFL. Nobody knows how that works. And I'm not saying PJ's telling his agent to say that. His agent might just be saying that behind the scenes, that's how that whole thing works. But I'll be intrigued to see how PJ Fleck operates. Not a lot of college coaches have made the transition into the NFL. College coaches control every single minute of their players' lives, okay? Now, granted, there's still some freedom, and we found them, and I got a chance to revisit a lot of those memories and stuff like that. But basically, year-round, this is when they're working out. Okay, this is when they're doing classes. This is when their lunches. This is when practices. This is when study hall is. This is when this thing is. And if they don't do it, by the way, they won't play. They have to listen to everything I say. I am the gatekeeper to everything, including if we pull their scholarship and somebody asks me how he is back. It's a whole different level of control than whenever in the NFL, you're dealing with adults. Now, obviously, rookies and young guys make mistakes like me, but on that team, you have 30-plus-year-old men there now who have been around the NFL a long time, and the ability to adjust talking to young adults to grown men is something I think some people that are in a position of power can't always easily transition into. Pete Carroll was able to work in both, but there is a litany of college coaches that have not worked out in the NFL. Urban Meyer is allegedly heading down to Jacksonville potentially, which Trevor Lawrence going down there. Seems like Shad Khan will do whatever for your team to win if you want. He'll buy whatever. He'll do whatever. Feels like he is all in, which, by the way, good for Urban if he was able to control the entire thing. I don't know who would be general manager, how that whole thing would work. Would Urban Meyer be able to transition into the NFL? I assume Urban, who's considered one of the greatest coaches of all time, probably wants to see if he can make the transition into the NFL. I don't know how players feel who played for Urban Meyer. I don't think I've ever asked.
No
I think
clue.
they love him. I mean,
Do they? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never really heard one of his players coming out and bashing him.
Me neither.
And he's coached a lot of guys in the league.
Yeah, so I'd be excited to see if Urban Meyer could work.
Yeah.
It's like I wonder if the cons down there would ask Trevor in this whole thing, do you know Urban Meyer? Do you hate Urban Meyer? Or do they even care what Trevor Lawrence thinks and says, hey, this is how this is going to go? Because Trevor's going to be their franchise for the next 5 years at least, if you think about it. That'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out.
I'm kind of worried about Urban's health, though. Don't you think the stress of the NFL would kind of get to him?
Well, the thing about it is,
Perfect excuse.
he does. What was that?
It's a perfect baked-in excuse. So they stink. Oh, Jesus, my heart. And then he can just, sail off into the sunset.
That's what I'm saying.
The opinions of Ty do not reflect that of his employer, even though his employer did put out a tweet one time that
Well, something to think about.
But we do hope he is healthy at this point.
For sure.
Healthy enough to get back into coaching if he is, to get back into coaching. But would it work in the NFL? I don't know. I'll be intrigued to see if it does.